Hey guys, so yeah, I just got back from watching Avengers: Infinity War. Literally just finished watching it. Went to see it at 11:30 p.m. It is now 2:30 a.m. Literally just got home. Got a ride from my friend. The cinema's not that far away anyway, but it was a great film. I'm watching it on the 27th, so I'm watching it on the release date that is the American release date. The UK gets it one day earlier. I missed that day because it was overbooked. So let's talk about it. So the film starts out, and this is a spoiler review by the way. The film starts out on Thanos' ship, or no, on Thor's ship. Thanos is boarded with his children or his team or his kind of like cabal, whatever you want to call them. So bang, they're on the ship. Thor is laid out on the ground. Everyone's laid out. Loki, Thanos asks Loki where the Tesseract is. Loki doesn't want to give it up. He eventually gives it up. Thanos destroys it, makes it into the Infinity Stone. Then Thanos is attacked by the Hulk. On someone, I think on Thor's command. Thanos, it seems like the Hulk's overpowering Thanos. Hulk's doing damage and whatever is hitting Thanos. Thanos proceeds to just do this. So Hulk's got him like this. Thanos just overpowers him, takes his arms off, hits him in the throat. I don't want to tell too much, but Thanos beats the Hulk. He beats the brakes off the Hulk. No issue. Batters the Hulk. It's bad. Hulk gets knocked out by Thanos. Okay. Heimdall is on the ship also. He sends the Hulk to Earth with the Bifrost, which is his power. Thor, and this I don't want to go into too much depth, but Loki is then killed by Thanos, I believe. So there are some deaths in this film. He proceeds to be choked by Thanos because he tries to pull a fast one and kill Thanos. He gets choked, and he's dropped at Thor's feet. Thor cries over his body. It's his brother. Then Thanos uses the stone he already has, because he has the Space Stone, which is the Tesseract, and the Power Stone, which is the purple stone he got from Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think he got it from Xandar, where it was in Guardians. He uses the Power Stone to annihilate Thor's ship, and then he leaves through a portal using the Space Stone. So Thor's ship's annihilated. So everything you've seen in the trailers, Thor ends up with the Guardians. The Guardians help Thor figure out how he's going to get his new hammer, which they've tried to hide from us in the trailers and everything. But Thor ends up getting a new hammer later on in the film. It's called Stormbreaker. It's not Stormbreaker, the same Stormbreaker from the comics that Beta Ray 4 has, but it's a version of Stormbreaker. This Stormbreaker looks like the ultimate Thor hammer, but it has a wooden handle. It has a wooden handle. Overall, I don't really want to go too much into what happens in the film, but what I want to do say is this, because I'm 3 minutes in now. This film added a different layer of character depth. The character depth in this movie was beyond any other comic book film I've seen. Period. And I'm a DC fanboy. This is the type of stuff that the DC Cinematic Universe should be doing, and hopefully will one day. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has perfectly created a superhero film. Because as a fan of comic books, and as a fan of superheroes in general, there are very important elements that the Marvel Cinematic Universe does very well. For example, they have humor in their films. Even at dire times, you'd still have, for example, there's a scene where Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange are fighting Thanos. I don't want to spoil it too much, but this is a spoiler review. And Spider-Man is doing funny stuff, catching people while they're fighting, and he's all comedic, and he never breaks his character. He's still happy-go-lucky, even in those moments. It's perfect how they weave this together. They go from funny comedy moments to really deep character development moments. And you know, here's a big spoiler. And if you don't want to hear this, and it's about Gamora. If you don't want to hear this, just skip to about 30 seconds from now. I'm going to say it really quickly. There's a scene where he has to get the Soul Stone. He goes to a planet because Gamora has been hiding it from him. You know, she's the only one who knows where the Soul Stone is. Goes to a planet. Someone there's keeping the stone. The guy tells him, Thanos, if you want the stone, you have to sacrifice someone. And the stone will come to you. The Soul Stone has its own kind of like, it has its own terms. Thanos cries. Thanos cries in this film. Why does he cry? Because he loves Gamora as his daughter and he has to sacrifice her. And she's monologuing. The tone of everything changes, you could tell. I said to all my boys, I said, he's sacrificing Gamora. Because she's there monologuing, so not monologuing, but she's like, Thanos, everything you've done in the universe has denied you. And he turns and he's crying. And she looks at him. And the guy who's keeping the Soul Stone says, the tears aren't for him. They're for you. And she goes, no. And he grabs her arm and throws her off the mountain. And that's the end of Gamora. She's been sacrificed. He gets the Soul Stone. He awakes. He goes to sleep. He wakes up. He has the Soul Stone. What they did with Thanos as a character is they took a character who was already very, very popular, very well known, and they expanded on that character. They took a character who people probably thought had a lot of depth, and they gave him more depth. He's not exactly the same Thanos from the comics, not at all. I don't even think he has the same powers as comic book Thanos. I think the only thing he really has is incredible amounts of strength. But they took Thanos and translated him into a movie form very well. They added things, they took things away. He seems like he's a much better fighter in this universe. The way he defeats the Hulk at the start of the film, it's like he's a martial arts master. The way he talks to all of his children, it's like he's this perfect being in perfect balance, and he's mastered martial arts. And very, 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 very good translation of a character that is, to a lot of people, the perfect villain. And to me, Thanos has been, and I'm a DC fanboy, Thanos has been the best villain in comic books, to me. You're not going to get much better than Thanos. You don't get bigger than Thanos. And this film proved that. This film proved that this guy is no joke. This guy is the villain. There's a few more scenes, you know. Essentially, though, you know, what I do want to say to all the people out there that are going to watch this film, and this is a spoiler, a big spoiler. As everyone knew, this film ends on a cliffhanger. You know, it ends on a cliffhanger. There's no way around it. You know, this is part one. Just like when it was first announced, there is going to be a part two, and I'm hoping it comes out next year. I'm hoping they were filmed at the same time, and I heard there was, and there's been, but they've tried to keep it very quiet. But at the same time, originally when they were announced there's two films. I'm hoping they've stuck to that properly. But yeah, overall, it ends on a cliffhanger. Thanos does win, essentially, in this film. In this film, Thanos is unstoppable. You know, if you're going to watch this film, be prepared to see this guy just be unstoppable. This guy is an absolute juggernaut. This guy, the way they've conveyed him in this movie, he is beyond anything. He sees himself as fate itself. He sees himself as the destiny. He sees himself as nature. He sees himself as just. And some people might say this is a better version of him than the comics. The only issue I have with that is that I don't like the fact that he doesn't have the same powers. But other than that, he's a great version of the character. So let's talk about other things. So the post-credit scene, I stayed all the way to the end of the credits. The last scene was Nick Fury and General Hill driving. They crash into someone because people are fading away. Turns out Fury and Hill start fading away. Fury presses a button on a beeper and he beeps Captain Marvel. You see a little Captain Marvel symbol come up. Not Shazam, obviously, because it's Marvel Comics, but Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers Marvel. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with that. So I can't wait. I can't wait for that. But anyway, guys. Also, the big fight scenes were incredible. I've never, the fight choreography was great. The characters were great. The children of Thanos were incredible characters. They had so much kind of like oomph to them. They were very evil, and there was one of them that was torturing Doctor Strange in the film. He was incredible. He had these telekinetic powers. It was so cool to see him fight against all of the heroes, and the film was action packed. The fight scenes had a lot of depth to them. They weren't just meaningless fight scenes. The children of Thanos, though, they seemed very overpowered in comparison to the Avengers. But other than that, it was really, really good. It was probably, to me, it was the best superhero film I've seen yet. Better than Panther, better than any Avengers film, better than Civil War, better than Justice League, better than any of them. Just because it just gave me so much. Doctor Strange showed moments of development. Doctor Strange was doing really cool stuff. It was overall just a really, really cool experience. It was just something else. Iron Man was on another level in this film. Iron Man's new suit is nanotech. Now, I don't know if anyone knows, but in the Marvel Now, in the kind of like a few years ago, kind of Marvel kind of rebooted and Iron Man came back, and he has this new suit which is really cool in the comics. It has kind of like a triangular face, but he didn't have that suit in the film. He had a suit very similar, if not that suit, in a different version. That suit makes an appearance in this film, and it is the coolest thing I've seen, because he can just manifest pieces, make huge cannons. It's so cool. Walk around kind of like with his face out, and then his face gets destroyed and he can like manifest a new face. It's the coolest thing I've seen, in terms of like an Iron Man suit yet. And there's been some cool stuff Marvel's done with Iron Man, but that was cool. Few characters do die in this film. Iron Man does not die. I thought everyone was telling, on the internet was saying Iron Man's gonna die. Iron Man did not die. He came very close to dying, but ended up not dying in the end. He might die in the next film. He might retire in the film after if they beat Thanos. Well, they will beat Thanos, because that's the whole point of the MCU. But overall, this film was absolutely, positively the culmination of everything Marvel's done so far, and it worked perfectly. The Guardians of the Galaxy were in the film. They were great in the film, because obviously they're Gamora and her sister, which are part of that Guardians family of characters, they tie in directly with Thanos. So there's parts of that going on. Drax is involved. There's a lot of things happening in this film that were just incredible. Beautiful scenes here and there. Great characters. Thanos gets so much development. Thanos talks about his own self and explains certain things, not everything. Thanos is a realist. It seems to me like his weakness is Gamora. Even though he sacrifices her, it seems to me like she's his weakness. Like she was his weakness. And even though she was his weakness, he wasn't going to let her stop him. Even if she wasn't trying to stop him directly, which she was, but he wasn't going to let her stand in his way. So when it came time to sacrifice her, he did not hesitate. This character has so much development. Now, as I said, I was one of the rare few that actually liked Justice League. Okay? And I actually liked Steppenwolf. I did, as a character, because he just seemed, he made sense to me, okay? And I get why people don't like him. Thanos Like, he's nothing. Steppenwolf's nothing in comparison to Thanos. The way Thanos is in this film. Thanos is on another level. Thanos has perfect motivations. Thanos has character. Thanos is aggressive. Thanos has presence. Thanos defeats all his opponents. Thanos, you know, when he's faced with adversity, he fights back, even though it could end up bad for him. Thanos in this film is beyond what I expected. I expected him to be a shell of his comic book self. In this film, he very much was, to me, very much was a comic book version of himself. You know what I'm saying? And it was cold. It was cold. But anyway, guys, I've been Fiji. This is what I think and I feel. Please like and subscribe. Share if you want to. It helps me get off the ground. What I will say is, Thanos made this film. This film, to me, it seemed like Thanos was absolutely the main character in this film. He did so much. The heroes did a lot as well. Wakanda was really beautiful to see. When Thanos' children try and capture Vision, Captain America and Black Widow show up. And that's a really cool fight scene. There's so much in this film. I'd recommend anyone to watch it. Best Marvel film yet. So much depth, so much beauty, so much things going on, so much characters. But anyway, guys, I've been Fiji. This is where I think and I feel. Please like and subscribe. Share if you want to. It helps me get off the ground. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Make sure you're watching Avengers Infinity War. It's best movie of the year. Peace.